Najee Harris, welcome to
Thanks for having
Hurlburt
me, Colonel.
Field Air Force Special Operations Command. I told you earlier, you're in the land of the quiet professional. So our men and women are asked to do missions on a moment's notice. And we don't talk a lot about what we do. It's a shared experience. We'll look at each other across the room and it's a nod, a handshake. Sometimes those missions are in some pretty terrible places, but we pride ourselves in getting after the mission. So it's awesome to have you here. My first question for you is, what are your thoughts on the military? What advice or what can you offer our team that we can capture?
Well, I think me being here is already just an experience that I will never forget. Just going, just like I said, meeting people like you, Travis, and people I know, just hearing and learning more about what you guys are doing. I think that's an honor right there alone. Me hearing about the Air Force or really anything in a military or any type of I don't know how to say that. What do you guys call it? Like
Like
little
missions?
missions or
Yeah.
anything? We always hear that they're very strict. They're very on schedule. They're very focused on what they got to do, and we always hear that we're the number one at everything. We have the number one power in the world. We have the number one military. We have the number one Air Force. We have the number one everything. We're a machine. Really just well-oiled machine. So just hearing that as a regular civilian, I guess as you would call it, it's for me to be from this country. It's something I will learn more about. I remember when I went to Army All-American game. That's when I really seen the troops, and it was a bunch of them. And then I don't know who it was, but somebody, they one person got all their attention at once. 3,000 people got their attention at once. I'm just like, damn, how does one person, get all these people's attention? It's just very a team that's well oiled, that's well focused on, their goal and their mission. And I just want to learn more about it. So me being here, it's like, man, I'm gonna ask a lot of questions. I'm gonna ask a lot of questions because I come from a background that, team is important. One man's mistake will cost a lot of a group of people stuff. So me being around it, I'm like, man, like, what makes this so well oiled? Maybe I could come back to my team and tell them like, this is what we need to do because in the Air Force they do this. And look how things play out for them. So I'm interested, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great to have you here. So we, yes, we're in the Air Force. We're also in our Special Operations Command. So we work with our Army, our Green Berets, our Army Rangers. We work with our Navy SEALs. So we work with those elite teams. So when we show up at a time and place of our choosing, we can get the mission. And often it's to return American citizens from another country. One recent example is the call came in. And we launched aircraft with our people. So we had to have the maintainers to generate the aircraft. We had to put the air crew on the aircraft and the equipment and go over to Sudan to bring Americans out of harm's way. Another thing we would say makes us prepared for those kinds of missions is reps and sets, much like you. So we practice not till we get it right. You practice till you can't get it wrong. And that's something that it probably rings true to you.
Yeah.
We talk about being mentally, spiritually, and physically fit to fight. So on the mental piece, we can be our own worst enemies.
100%.
How do you combat that? What do you do? What advice can you offer our team on staying mentally focused when you've got distractions, whether it's family distractions, friends distractions, maybe it's workplace, maybe it's locker room distractions or things that are going on inside your organization. How do you get focused?
Well, I think it goes to one word, and I think this one word, like, it's actually underrated, but it's the will. What are you willing to do? For football, I play running back. I'm kind of bigger for a running back. I am, but I'm always going to go against somebody who's bigger than me, stronger than me, faster than me. Anyway, if a D lineman, he's 6'5", 320 pounds, and he has to hit me. He's going to tackle me, and I'm in a small box where I can't really run away from him because I have to run through this hole no matter what for my team. So, just the will, like, what are you willing to do for your teammates? What are you willing to do for your country? I'm willing to go to the extreme amounts, just do anything I can for my teammates because this is the ultimate team sport. You know, I play the running back position. It's probably the most violent position. You last the least. You don't have really the long career span that you want in other positions, but somebody has to do it. You know what I mean? And I want to be that person really who can, you know, tell the team, be in front of the team, be like, look, I'm willing to do this for you guys. Are you guys willing to do the same for me? You know what I mean?
Do you doubt your capability every now and then?
100%. You know what I mean? But then it goes back to my training. You know, me training in the off season kind of fades away that doubt. I train a lot. I train extremes amount, like you're saying, repetition. I train probably more than normal, I guess. Probably do too much, but I want to be in a position where I feel comfortable, where you guys keep doing it over and over, and you guys don't feel. I want to be in a position where I feel so comfortable in a situation that other people don't feel comfortable in. Mm-hmm. You know, the game's on the line for me. I want to be that person, say, look, give me the ball on third and whatever, and I'm going to get this first down, like 100%. It goes back to my training, me constantly doing extra reps, training, you know, cardio, me even tapping into other sports like boxing and other things like that for extremes amount of cardio. You know, when I'm getting the ball probably like 30 times a game, it's the fourth quarter and you need to get 10 more carries and you're beat up, sore. You know what I mean? You got all type of bruises on your body, bleeding everywhere. You got to be willing to get 10 extra more carries and to end the game and finish it. And then you got to do that again next week, 17 games. And you doubt yourself for sure. But you got to remember where you started, where you came from. I came for a situation where, you know, I didn't really have nothing in my corner, really. I didn't have nobody in my corner. So, you know, who was going to be their biggest believer? Who's going to be that person? And it's just the man in the mirror, really. It's you. You know, nobody's going to believe in your goals and your aspirations than you. I always tell myself that it takes the artist to paint the picture. You know, you're the artist. You know, people are not going to know or see your vision until you paint it out for them. And then when you see it, they see it. It's like, wow. Like,
that's a great analogy.
Yeah.
I think often we look for that. So if we don't see it in the mirror, we look for somebody else to give us that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, you got to look at yourself and you got to find it from within. Is what you're telling me.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
So I would. There's no doubt that most players at your level are physical specimens, right? You get the training. You're gonna get, like, if you're not, it's gonna show, right? It's gonna be revealed. Do you find that your organization pours effort into the spiritual piece? Because we're trying to find a balance I don't know that there is such a thing as balance. However, we are trying to find resources and ways to rehab our folks, because we know what we need to do physically.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty well-oiled machine in your business and in our business. But the mental piece, because what affects you one way might affect me a different, some way different.
Exactly.
It may never affect you where it affects me really hard. So there's no cookie cutter recipe for bringing folks focused. What have you experienced? Can you share anything about that?
About just me being focused,
like the resilience piece of it.
Well,
not the physical aspect, but more
the mindset.
What resources do you find are beneficial to you and your teammates to be mentally resilient?
Man, so.
Or does it always go back to the physical piece? I'm just not sure.
Nah. Like, there's more than just physical pieces. I came from a school, Alabama, for instance. I came from Alabama. We always teach discipline, pride, effort, commitment. You know what I mean? We always teach that. And I think that in NFL and just being a professional football player, there's more to it than just physical traits. You know what I mean? If you don't have the right mindset, you will never be able to provide for the team, or you will never be able to, really just provide for the city, the team, anything, even the NFL in general. Always having a great mindset, that's where it always starts from. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you have a terrible mindset, it's the worst thing to have. So I always train myself in a way where, like what you were saying, you will always be your biggest critic. You always be. Right. So how do I train myself to put myself in a position where anything bad happens to me, or anything, any type of road bumps I have, times I gotta be resilient. How do I train myself to get over that? The media and social media, they always play a factor.
Do you look at it?
I mean, you try not to, but, in this time and age, it's like everything's on social media. Even when I don't try to be on it, it's like, okay, might have a marketing thing where I have to post something and I might come across something. There's no way you can, now
gonna
time,
make everybody
you know, I mean,
happy.
yeah. So how do I, try to find ways to use that as fire? That's why I always tell myself, how do I prove the doubters wrong? How do I put myself in a position where, when somebody else is in the same position as me, I could tell them like, look at all the people, they're always gonna have their own opinion, but the only opinion that matters is how you view yourself. If you feel like you need to work on something, man, go into a space, train more, go into a position where you can train a lot more to, I guess, to work on those things. I'm always in a situation where I have to prove doubters wrong. Always is, no matter how I've been. So when I was young, all the way up to the NFL, I always be in a position where, you have to prove the doubters wrong about what they say.
That's
I
fuel.
listen,
It sounds like
always,
you use
it's
it as
always
fuel.
fuel, always fuel for me. I guess I'm so comfortable now and I'm so used to it where I actually like it now. You know what I mean? I'm so used to people saying I can't amount to nothing, but I thrive off of it. This is something that I really like now. It always starts with your mindset, though. This is what you're saying. Long story short, it's just, the mindset is so important.
I would say that, we deal in trust, and trust is about character. There are a couple of words that I seem to always go back to. I call them value words: grit, determination, and perseverance. But those are just words. It takes a man or a woman of character to put them into action and make them come alive. We also, I think, in our line of work, it's important, and we have to grow the next. We have to teach others about our successes, but more importantly, our failures. Do you find yourself, like, I know you're young in the business, right? But, is somebody grabbing you by the scruff of the neck and showing you the ropes? Are you having to fend for yourself?
Oh,
Is that?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
I always wanted that, but I never had that. So when I came in my rookie year, there's usually like a vet in the room, or there's somebody that who could show you the ropes. I never had that for me. When I came in there, they said off rip, look, you're starting, get in the huddle, and learn off your mistakes. Really, that's what they. So I had to learn off my failures and have nobody to really hold my hand in a way. But like I said, that was a blessing in disguise, because now rookies come in, or even guys who've been on other teams and come to this team, and they tell me like, what are some ways where I could elevate my game or stuff like that. And I've been in every situation they could think of as a young guy that could help them out. So it's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, it's a winning.
Yeah.
You'll grow the next. I'm certain of it.
Yeah.
We're getting ready to have a bunch of young high school young men out on Hurlburt Field next weekend to play some 7-on-7 football that are look to you as a role model, right? They want to be at your level one day. Some of them absolutely may make it onto that stage. Some of them may not, whether it's for injuries or for other reasons. Go back in time to 16 or 17-year-old Najee. What would you tell those kids that are facing adversity, that are at a fork in the road, to either to continue? What advice would you give those guys?
So me at 16, 17, right? And just really anybody, you're kind of still figure out what you want to be in life, and you look at other people and, you see how they're doing their things. I was in an environment where the people I looked at, they were not doing good at all. And I love listening to motivational speakers. Love listening to motivational speakers. And
who's your go-to?
Les Brown.
Okay.
So he told me, but I was reading, I always looked at his videos every time because I had to work on my mentality. And one thing that stood out for me the most when he said, do not go where the path may lead, but go where there's no path and leave a trail. So I'm like, man, like that stood out to me ever since I was young, because I would see other people following a direction that's not really where I want to go. And I'm trying to, kind of at a young age, you're kind of saying like, is it okay for me to walk my own path? You know what I mean? So
that's hard.
It's hard. It's extremely hard. Extremely hard. Especially at that. Yeah, extremely. Especially at a young age. You know what I mean? I didn't really have like a role model or something. So for me to walk my own path, make my own trail, it was extremely hard, because you got to face adversity. You got to face everybody telling you what you can't do and what you can't amount to. Man, and for me to go through that journey, and for me to be where I'm at today, man, I would tell people like, do not go where the path may lead, but go where there's no path to leave a trail. Leave your own trail. Leave your own, make your own story. Don't follow that crowd that you know is not going to amount to anything. You know what I mean? And when you do achieve what you do, go back to that same place. That's what I do, and try to motivate other people. I'm saying, like, you know, walk your own path. It's okay to stand out. You know what I mean? Those are who makes the diamonds. You know, so that's what I'll say.
That's great advice, because the challenge in high school at that age, when you're trying to figure out what you want to do in life, and the social pressures never changes. It doesn't matter what decade we're in. That's a real thing. So I think that'll resonate with the young kids.
Listen to Les Brown though?
Yeah.
I say you knew that. That sounds pretty good.
Thomas is another one.
E.T. Yeah, E.T.'s fire. E.T.'s fire.
I think it doesn't matter what you look like, how old you are. You're always looking for some kind of inspiration.
Yeah.
And it may be inspiration for myself, because I doubt my ability to lead all these young men and women, or maybe it's an angle to connect with one of our young airmen that has come in, because I'd like to think I'm relevant with 16, 17, but I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. So I'm always looking to improve myself. It doesn't stop. Everybody's got a story. We can look in a room full of 5 people or 5,000 people, and everyone has a journey. You have a story, I have a story, and you know, I will tell you that to see you use the platform, the gift that God has given you for good, to pay it back. I am a believer that you grow the next, you use your successes, but more importantly your failures to grow the next, and to go back and remind folks like, hey, I was there, I struggled there, and to keep pushing forward. I have the honor of being the first Special Operations Wing Commander. There's a lot of people relying on me to guide the ship and move it the right direction, as well as our command chief. And when we look at using platform for good, one of our goals here at Hurlburt Field is to bring the community onto the installation, so they can see the men and women in uniform doing great work. You're doing the same thing and paying it forward by going back to where you came from, but looking at the youth to inspire them for the next. Is there a piece of advice, or is there something you'd like to offer to the folks that might be in a position that they can do good, that maybe aren't?
Yeah, so this platform I have, like what you say, you work really hard to get there. You know, I mean, now that I'm in a position where I could impact other communities, I use that to my full advantage. So I was homeless for a good amount of my life. So now that I'm here at this stage, I partnered with the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, who's one of my good friends. And, you know, homelessness is so huge out there. So now I'm standing up on a podium with him talking about how ways or anything we could do to change the situation of homelessness out there. That was something I always wanted to work on. And that's something I always wanted to do. And I'm still doing to this day with my nonprofit and stuff. So for me, just to be in this position where I could shed light on things that I feel like needs to get shed light more on is big. So obviously homelessness, what I was talking about, just about the flag, you talking about flag football in there, that's huge, especially for women too, getting into flag football and really just expanding our sport, make it be more worldwide. Because right now it's kind of an American sport, but you know, the more we can expand it, I want to be the kind of that person to do that. There's a lot of little other positions where I talk to also in just the running back football world, but that's not important. But
no,
you know,
it's important. I think every person you touch, right? So it's great to have you here, because next time you go out on your platform, you're gonna say, hey, like those military folks, they're not so bad.
Yeah.
We do offer an opportunity and a team, just like the team you're on, that maybe that path leads them our way.
Exactly. Yeah. So like for being here, I you know, look on the outside world, we think it's a whole different world here. Like I said, I didn't think you guys have any personality. Thought you guys would be very strict and mean. You know what I mean? Just hearing the stuff.
It's all for the camera.
Yeah. I mean, even playing the games of Call of Duty, none of them even laughs. You know what I mean? Shepard and Ghost in the game, like they're all. You guys play Call of Duty, I'm pretty sure. But you know, it's all very strict. You know what I mean? Right. But just to be here, crack jokes. You know what I mean? Laugh and have a good time. It's kind of, you know, you get a different perception from the outside world. So just to see that when you get here, it's not like that at all. It's more of it feels like a family. You know, you guys are very, spend a lot of time with each other. You guys know each other. You guys know exactly what's what. When is the time to turn it on? When is the time to, you know what I mean, relax and enjoy you guys self. Like I was asking Travis a lot of questions too. I'm thinking y'all don't even go out or nothing or eat out or you can't even leave the
No, it's
base.
just those MRE, those meals ready to eat.
Yeah, I'm thinking y'all eating rations and stuff, but yeah, I mean y'all, it's just a different world and a different perspective when you are really here. Looking on the outside in is different from the inside out.
I would offer that if you look at the word get and the word have, so there's a lot of things that, as you know, being in the military, we have to do. But if you take the have out and you go, I get to put on this uniform every single day and go defend the freedoms that we hold so dear.
Yeah.
I get to go get after the enemy. I get to lead men and women in uniform, and I'm just representative of an incredible team that also wears a uniform. You get to put on your uniform and represent who you are and your background and your family and your country, essentially, and the Steelers, right, as you get onto that field. So there are a lot of haves, and when I find myself kicking rocks and feeling like, man, I have to, I'm like, I get to be a part of that. It's a different perspective.
Yeah, and that is, and the way you say it like that actually makes a lot more sense. You know what I mean? I get to wear my uniform.
Not everybody gets
Yeah,
to.
exactly. Yeah. So
They have to, but not everybody gets to.
yeah.